One nation under God. As God's servant Moses prepared the children of Israel for the promised land, he created the fundamental foundations of government that would guide them. The rules and standards we will examine were written particularly for the nation of Israel. Now we will explore this topic because it conveys timeless principles. 1. Godly leaders. Deuteronomy 16:18, New King James Version. You shall appoint judges and officers in all your gates, which the Lord your God gives you according to your tribes, and they shall judge the people with just judgment. God sent judges to administer and enforce the 10 Commandments after he gave them. The city gate was the courthouse where official business was handled in the Old Testament. Justice was to be administered at every level of Israel's society, beginning at the municipal level so that justice was accessible to the people. Similarly, we now have courts at all levels. Genesis 19:1, New King James Version. Now the 2 angels came to Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gate of Sodom. When Lot saw them, he rose to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. Deuteronomy 16:18-20, New King James Version. You shall appoint judges and officers in all your gates, which the Lord your God gives you, according to your tribes, and they shall judge the people with just judgment. You shall not pervert justice. You shall not show partiality, nor take a bribe, for a bribe blinds the eyes of the wise and twists the words of the righteous. You shall follow what is altogether just, that you may live and inherit the land which the Lord your God is giving you. Along with the demand for just judgments, Moses warned against any attempt to misinterpret or misuse God's instructions. Don't bend the law, play favorites, or accept a bribe, says one paraphrase of that paragraph. Pursue just what is right. Moses recognized the benefits that justice would bring by maintaining order and harmony in a land. Injustice causes chaos and pain. Deuteronomy 17:1-13, New King James Version. You shall not sacrifice to the Lord your God a bull or sheep which has any blemish or defect, for that is an abomination to the Lord your God. If there is found among you, within any of your gates which the Lord your God gives you, a man or a woman who has been wicked in the sight of the Lord your God, in transgressing his covenant, who has gone and served other gods and worshipped them, either the sun or moon or any of the host of heaven which I have not commanded, and it is told you, and you hear of it, then you shall inquire diligently. And if it is indeed true and certain that such an abomination has been committed in Israel, then you shall bring out to your gates that man or woman who has committed that wicked thing, and shall stone to death that man or woman with stones. Whoever is deserving of death shall be put to death on the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. He shall not be put to death on the testimony of 1 witness. The hands of the witness shall be the first against him to put him to death, and afterward the hands of all the people. So you shall put away the evil from among you. If a matter arises which is too hard for you to judge, between degrees of guilt for bloodshed, between one judgment or another, or between one punishment or another, matters of controversy within your gates, then you shall arise and go up to the place which the Lord your God chooses. And you shall come to the priests, the Levites, and to the judge there in those days, and inquire of them. They shall pronounce upon you the sentence of judgment. You shall do according to the sentence which they pronounce upon you in that place which the Lord chooses. And you shall be careful to do according to all that they order you, according to the sentence of the law in which they instruct you, according to the judgment which they tell you, you shall do. You shall not turn aside to the right hand or to the left from the sentence which they pronounce upon you. Now the man who acts presumptuously and will not heed the priest who stands to minister there before the Lord your God, or the judge, that man shall die. So you shall put away the evil from Israel, and all the people shall hear and fear, and no longer act presumptuously. Moses established the notion of 2 or more witnesses in situations of justice after studying the rules of sacrifices and idolatry. No one could be convicted based only on the testimony of one witness. If a local court found a matter too challenging, he could refer it to a higher level. However, the High Court's ruling was definitive. Deuteronomy 17:14, New King James Version. When you come to the land which the Lord your God is giving you, and possess it, and dwell in it, and say, I will set a king over me like all the nations that are around me. Moses foreshadowed the future royal leaders. God foresaw that when Israel arrived in Canaan, they would demand a monarch, just like the other nations. That was a huge blunder. God's goal for Israel was for him to be king. Their opposing desire indicated that they had lost sight of their national identity. Moses then listed 3 prohibitions for the kings. Tragically, King Solomon broke all 3 of those prohibitions. Exodus 15:18, New King James Version. The Lord shall reign forever and ever. Deuteronomy 17:16-17, New King James Version. But he shall not multiply horses for himself, nor cause the people to return to Egypt to multiply horses. For the Lord has said to you, you shall not return that way again. Neither shall he multiply wives for himself, lest his heart turn away. Nor shall he greatly multiply silver and gold for himself. 1 Kings 4:26, New King James Version. Solomon had 40,000 stalls of horses for his chariots and 12,000 horsemen. 1 Kings 10:23, New King James Version. So King Solomon surpassed all the kings of the earth in riches and wisdom. 1 Kings 11:3, New King James Version. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. Deuteronomy 17:18-20, New King James Version. Also it shall be, when he sits on the throne of his kingdom, that he shall write for himself a copy of this law in a book, from the one before the priests, the Levites. And it shall be with him, and he shall read it all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear the Lord his God, and be careful to observe all the words of this law and these statutes, that his heart may not be lifted above his brethren, that he may not turn aside from the commandment to the right hand or to the left, and that he may prolong his days in his kingdom, he and his children in the midst of Israel. The future king was instructed to make his own copy of God's law, so that his mind and heart were saturated with the norms, standards, and laws of a holy God. Deuteronomy 18:1-8, New King James Version. The priests, the Levites, all the tribe of Levi, shall have no part nor inheritance with Israel. They shall eat the offerings of the Lord made by fire, and his portion. Therefore they shall have no inheritance among their brethren. The Lord is their inheritance, as he said to them. And this shall be the priest's due from the people, from those who offer a sacrifice, whether it is bull or sheep. They shall give to the priest the shoulder, the cheeks, and the stomach. The first fruits of your grain, and your new wine, and your oil, and the first of the fleece of your sheep you shall give him. For the Lord your God has chosen him out of all your tribes to stand to minister in the name of the Lord, him and his sons forever. So if a Levite comes from any of your gates, from where he dwells among all Israel, and comes with all the desire of his mind to the place which the Lord chooses, then he may serve in the name of the Lord his God, as all his brethren the Levites do, who stand there before the Lord. They shall have equal portions to eat, besides what comes from the sale of his inheritance. Moses then addressed the spiritual leaders, the priests and Levites, and how he would provide for them. They were tasked with serving the Lord and teaching the people about him. 2. Godly markers. Deuteronomy 19, 1-14, New King James Version. When the Lord your God has cut off the nations whose land the Lord your God is giving you, and you dispossess them and dwell in their cities and in their houses, you shall separate 3 cities for yourself in the midst of your land which the Lord your God is giving you to possess. You shall prepare roads for yourself, and divide into 3 parts the territory of your land, which the Lord your God is giving you to inherit, that any manslayer may flee there. And this is the case of the manslayer who flees there, that he may live. Whoever kills his neighbor unintentionally, not having hated him in time past, as when a man goes to the woods with his neighbor to cut timber, and his hand swings a stroke with the axe to cut down the tree, and the head slips from the handle and strikes his neighbor so that he dies. He shall flee to one of these cities and live, lest the avenger of blood, while his anger is hot, pursue the manslayer and overtake him, because the way is long, and kill him, though he was not deserving of death, since he had not hated the victim in time past. Therefore I command you, saying, you shall separate 3 cities for yourself. Now if the Lord your God enlarges your territory, as he swore to your fathers, and gives you the land which he promised to give to your fathers, and if you keep all these commandments and do them, which I command you today, to love the Lord your God, and to walk always in his ways, then you shall add 3 more cities for yourself besides these 3, lest innocent blood be shed in the midst of your land which the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance, and thus guilt of bloodshed be upon you. But if anyone hates his neighbor, lies in wait for him, rises against him, and strikes him mortally, so that he dies, and he flees to one of these cities, then the elders of his city shall send and bring him from there, and deliver him over to the hand of the avenger of blood, that he may die. Your eye shall not pity him, but you shall put away the guilt of innocent blood from Israel, that it may go well with you. You shall not remove your neighbor's landmark, which the men of old have set in your inheritance, which you will inherit in the land that the Lord your God is giving you to possess. Godly leaders and followers require godly regulations that serve as indicators that they are God's people. This is particularly relevant when dealing with heinous offences. Moses began by discussing inadvertent or accidental killing, manslaughter, and the notion of refuge cities. God was ensuring the person's justice. Moses then discussed premeditated murder, which is motivated by hatred and results in the death punishment. In our legal system today, we make the same differences. Deuteronomy 19, 15-21, New King James Version. One witness shall not rise against a man concerning any iniquity, or any sin that he commits. By the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, the matter shall be established. If a false witness rises against any man to testify against him of wrongdoing, then both men in the controversy shall stand before the Lord, before the priests and the judges who serve in those days. And the judges shall make careful inquiry, and indeed, if the witness is a false witness who has testified falsely against his brother, then you shall do to him as he thought to have done to his brother. So you shall put away the evil from among you. And those who remain shall hear and fear, and hereafter they shall not again commit such evil among you. Your eye shall not pity. Life shall be for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. Moses then organized eyewitness testimonies. A false witness was to be punished in the same way that his or her falsehood would have punished the person about whom he or she lied. The notion is that a just society is entirely dependent on its citizens' honesty. Moses was also implying that the fear of punishment serves as a deterrent to criminal behavior. As Moses articulated justice, he stated the law of retribution, known as lex talionis, which the citizens would hear and fear. The judges were not to be lenient with criminals. In response, Jesus stated that his disciples should apply different criteria when it comes to personal wrongs done to them. Matthew 5, 38-43, New King James Version. You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I tell you not to resist an evil person. But whoever slaps you on your right cheek, turn the other to him also. If anyone wants to sue you and take away your tunic, let him have your cloak also. And whoever compels you to go 1 mile, go with him 2. Give to him who asks you, and from him who wants to borrow from you, do not turn away. You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. Deuteronomy 20, 1-20, New King James Version. When you go out to battle against your enemies, and see horses and chariots and people more numerous than you, do not be afraid of them. For the Lord your God is with you, who brought you up from the land of Egypt. So it shall be, when you are on the verge of battle, that the priest shall approach and speak to the people. And he shall say to them, Hear, O Israel, today you are on the verge of battle with your enemies. Do not let your heart faint. Do not be afraid, and do not tremble or be terrified because of them. For the Lord your God is he who goes with you, to fight for you against your enemies, to save you. Then the officers shall speak to the people, saying, What man is there who has built a new house and has not dedicated it? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the battle and another man dedicate it. Also, what man is there who has planted a vineyard and has not eaten of it? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the battle and another man eat of it. And what man is there who is betrothed to a woman and has not married her? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the battle and another man marry her. The officers shall speak further to the people, and say, What man is there who is fearful and faint-hearted? Let him go and return to his house, lest the heart of his brethren faint like his heart. And so it shall be, when the officers have finished speaking to the people, that they shall make captains of the armies to lead the people. When you go near a city to fight against it, then proclaim an offer of peace to it. And it shall be that if they accept your offer of peace and open to you, then all the people who are found in it shall be placed under tribute to you and serve you. Now if the city will not make peace with you, but war against you, then you shall besiege it. And when the Lord your God delivers it into your hands, you shall strike every male in it with the edge of the sword. But the women, the little ones, the livestock, and all that is in the city, all its spoil, you shall plunder for yourself. And you shall eat the enemy's plunder, which the Lord your God gives you. Thus you shall do to all the cities which are very far from you, which are not of the cities of these nations. But of the cities of these peoples, which the Lord your God gives you as an inheritance, you shall let nothing that breathes remain alive, but you shall utterly destroy them: the Hittite, and the Amorite, and the Canaanite, and the Perizzite, and the Hivite, and the Jebusite, just as the Lord your God has commanded you, lest they teach you to do according to all their abominations which they have done for their gods, and you sin against the Lord your God. When you besiege a city for a long time, while making war against it to take it, you shall not destroy its trees by wielding an axe against them. If you can eat of them, do not cut them down to use in the siege, for the tree of the field is man's food. Only the trees which you know are not trees for food you may destroy and cut down, to build siege works against the city that makes war with you, until it is subdued. Following that, Moses addressed the entire issue of war. First, the priests were to direct the people's attention away from their anxieties and onto the Lord. For those whose hearts will not be in the war, Moses gave a list of deferments for service. He explained the strategies for two types of battles: those fought against towns outside of Canaan and those fought within Canaan. God established the institution of government in order for people to live in an orderly and peaceful society. He has also given us His Word, which teaches leaders how to rule and citizens how to live. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, says Psalm 33 verse 12. Yet Proverbs 14 verse 34 warns, righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. Romans 13 verses 1 to 4, New King James Version. Let every soul be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and the authorities that exist are appointed by God. Therefore, whoever resists the authority resists the ordinance of God, and those who resist will bring judgment on themselves. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to evil. Do you want to be unafraid of the authority? Do what is good, and you will have praise from the same. For he is God's minister to you for good. But if you do evil, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain. For he is God's minister, an avenger to execute wrath on him who practices evil. Psalm 33:12, New King James Version. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people he has chosen as his own inheritance. Proverbs 14:34, New King James Version. Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. 3. Godly followers. Deuteronomy 26:1-11, New King James Version. And it shall be, when you come into the land which the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance, and you possess it and dwell in it, that you shall take some of the first of all the produce of the ground, which you shall bring from your land that the Lord your God is giving you, and put it in a basket, and go to the place where the Lord your God chooses to make his name abide. And you shall go to the one who is priest in those days, and say to him, I declare today to the Lord your God that I have come to the country which the Lord swore to our fathers to give us. Then the priest shall take the basket out of your hand and set it down before the altar of the Lord your God. And you shall answer and say before the Lord your God, My father was a Syrian, about to perish, and he went down to Egypt and dwelt there, few in number. And there he became a nation, great, mighty, and populous. But the Egyptians mistreated us, afflicted us, and laid hard bondage on us. Then we cried out to the Lord God of our fathers, and the Lord heard our voice, and looked on our affliction, and our labor, and our oppression. So the Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand, and with an outstretched arm, with great terror, and with signs and wonders. He has brought us to this place, and has given us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. And now, behold, I have brought the first fruits of the land which you, O Lord, have given me. Then you shall set it before the Lord your God, and worship before the Lord your God. So you shall rejoice in every good thing which the Lord your God has given to you, and your house, you and the Levite and the stranger who is among you. A just government is dependent not only on godly leaders, but also on godly people who are eager to obey. Whatever makes men good Christians makes them good citizens, remarked Daniel Webster. Citizenship is inextricably linked to their relationship with the Lord. The children of Israel were to bring a unique offering when they entered the land. Then they were to tell a testimony about how they had become a nation as a result of what God had done for them. They were to be decent citizens in response to God's goodness. Deuteronomy 26:12-19, New King James Version. When you have finished laying aside all the tithe of your increase in the 3rd year, the year of tithing, and have given it to the Levite, the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, so that they may eat within your gates and be filled, then you shall say before the Lord your God, I have removed the holy tithe from my house, and also have given them to the Levite, the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, according to all your commandments which you have commanded me. I have not transgressed your commandments, nor have I forgotten them. I have not eaten any of it when in mourning, nor have I removed any of it for an unclean use, nor given any of it for the dead. I have obeyed the voice of the Lord my God, and have done according to all that you have commanded me. Look down from your holy habitation, from heaven, and bless your people Israel and the land which you have given us, just as you swore to our fathers, a land flowing with milk and honey. This day the Lord your God commands you to observe these statutes and judgments. Therefore, you shall be careful to observe them with all your heart and with all your soul. Today you have proclaimed the Lord to be your God, and that you will walk in his ways and keep his statutes, his commandments, and his judgments, and that you will obey his voice. Also today the Lord has proclaimed you to be his special people, just as he promised you, that you should keep all his commandments, and that he will set you high above all nations which he has made, in praise, in name, and in honor, and that you may be a holy people to the Lord your God, just as he has spoken. Because their God was kind, Israel was supposed to be generous. Moses mentioned bringing tithes for the Levites and the less fortunate once more. Moses ended his portion by urging Israel to heed the Lord's precepts. As Christians, we have a responsibility to be decent citizens, since we are Christ's ambassadors. We have the Bible to guide us, and one of the finest ways to be a good citizen is to pray faithfully for our leaders, especially for their salvation. Commit to praying for your leaders on a regular basis, starting right now. 1 Timothy 2, 1-4, New King James Version. Therefore I exhort first of all that supplications, prayers, intercessions, and giving of thanks be made for all men, for kings and all who are in authority, that we may lead a quiet and peaceable life in all godliness and reverence. For this is good and acceptable in the sight of God our Saviour, who desires all men to be saved and to come to the knowledge of the truth.